one Sunday morning, I was lying in bed and I sneezed, and the pain was excruciating. I didn't really know what would happen, but I knew I had a bad back, and I kind of sort of crouched up in bed and was like, oh my goodness. That day, I think we had a family day, so my wife and my boy went off, and I said, no, it's okay, I've got to stay home, it hurts too much.
He attended his GP, who considered this to be a nerve injury and prescribed pain-killing medication and told him to come back should his symptoms deteriorate. The symptoms did not improve, so the following day he attended his hospital, who confirmed the diagnosis of the GP and sent him away with the same advice. The following day his symptoms deteriorated further. He was in significant pain, could hardly walk by that stage, re-attended his local hospital. He was admitted and underwent an MRI scan.
I said, look, can I see the MRI scan? And there was like this kind of big black mass. And I said, like, what's all that? And she said, I'm not really sure. She said, we've been in touch with another hospital with some other experts. You know, they said it's okay. You know, la la la, you can go home. It all sounded very strange.
Although it was clear from the MRI images that Matthew had a slipped disc and it was causing compression to the nerves, unbelievably he was discharged home with advice that he should re-attend the hospital to see the orthopaedic team in 2 weeks.
Through my work I had Bupa health insurance, so I said, look, I'm going to give Bupa a ring, you know. So I gave Bupa a ring and I said, look, you know, you need to get me in to see someone because this isn't right.
He was fortunate enough to attend a local private hospital and was seen by a neurosurgeon that evening.
He said, look, you've had this injury, it's called Cauda Equina Syndrome. How long has it been like this? And I kind of did the math and the hours, and I said, I don't know, maybe about 36, 37 hours. He's like, if it's anything more than 48 hours, you know, it could be really, really serious. I said, what do you mean serious? Well, you could lose feeling below your waist. You could be paralysed.
Matthew underwent emergency surgery that evening to remove the disc and therefore remove the compression to his spinal nerves.
Ultimately, the next thing I remember was being in the waiting room of the surgery, and then suddenly I woke up and the pain had gone. I came across Kingsley Napley and I did a lot of research, and at that point I thought, oh, I should give these guys a call. I gave you a call, and I was speaking to a healthcare professional within Kingsley Napley. They connected me with Richard, who represented me throughout this process. Richard was very black and white about how things are and how things would be potentially for me. He explained, you know, how it works from a medical negligence perspective. He also explained to me that as well as obviously negligence, there has to be causation to the negligence.
The defendant tried to defend the claim on the basis of causation, arguing that although there was a failing, although they did fail to identify what was very obvious from the MRI scans, that even if they had operated in a more timely fashion, the compression was so severe that Matthew would have been left with some neurological injury in any event. So they were attempting to run a causation defence to say that although there was a breach on their part, it didn't actually alter the outcome in Matthew's case.
All of the heavy lifting and the hard work was being done by Richard and his team. I was just doing what I was told to do, be where I needed to be at any time.
I would regularly be coordinating the entire case and making sure that I was on hand to deal with any queries Matthew may have had, and ensure that as much of the pressure was taken off his shoulders as possible so he could focus on his medical treatment.
The impact of the claim was really minimal. The impact of the recovery, both the stress and of course building up my strength again, that was really where my focus was, which I think is the right way around, right? I mean, I want to focus on getting better, and I want you guys to focus on, making sure that there's accountability for what had happened.
I was very pleased with the result we got for Matthew. No amount of money or compensation can take away an injury.
As a UK citizen as well, I was a bit concerned about, you know, taking money away from others. And Richard explained to me that that wasn't the case, you know, that actually there's different funds and the way it's all put together. And I thought that was quite interesting.
It was Matthew's determination that meant that the long-term symptoms that he has are less severe than they would have been had he simply accepted the advice he received from his local hospital.
I am very lucky because the stars were aligned for me, where I was able to get an appointment via Bupa for a meeting with a surgeon that evening. So although there are some after effects, if you like, of the negligence, I feel very privileged that luck was on my side.